morning. It's actually my computer is like totally spazzing out. So my presentation, it doesn't need to be on PowerPoint, that's fine. So my story. I was born to a 16-year-old. My mom was 16 when she had me. My computer's just frozen. So, I'm not worried about it. Thank you. Thank you for trying. So my mom was 16 when she had me. I was actually planned, believe it or not, by one half anyways. She dropped out of high school. We lived in poverty. We were on every kind of government assistance you could find. However, my mom worked 2 to 3 jobs at a time and showed me a work ethic. And that's where I got my work ethic. Thank goodness I had that example. So growing up, I knew that I didn't want to live the way that I was living. I didn't want to be in the place that my mom and dad were. So I decided that education was going to take me where I needed to go. I studied really hard. I got good grades, and I ended up getting scholarships to go to college. I completed my master's degree in deaf education, so I taught deaf and hard of hearing kids for a few years. In 2001, I moved to Colorado, and my husband and I opened up a construction company called TLC Design Build Remodeling. It was awesome. We ran it for 3 years with me teaching full-time, and I was doing things behind the scenes on the books. And after 3 years, I had to quit my job to run the company. I ran that company for 15 years. During that time, we got a business coach. We had a business coach for 8 years of those 15 years. In the recession of 2008 to 2012, our revenue increased by 100%. It was a lot of hard work. She didn't do anything. She brought ideas to me, but anyhow, back to my story. So we ran this company for 15 years. Things were awesome. I had a third vehicle. I was looking at an extra home. I didn't have to worry about what I spent money on. I could do things for my kids without thinking twice about it. Going through that divorce and closing that business devastated me. I had no income for a year. Luckily, I lived in a home that I owned because I couldn't pay the payments, and I didn't get kicked out for a year, thank goodness. I was on every kind of assistance you can imagine. I was even being paid by the state almost $1,000 a month just to pay my bills so that I could keep my heat on and things like that. Sorry. My mouth is so dry. So that was humbling, at the least. It was a very humbling experience, and I learned a lot about myself. And I shaped myself differently coming out of that. I looked for jobs for a year, finally got one. I was getting paid really well. I actually was putting money away in savings. I had several $1,000s in savings. It was awesome. And then I got laid off. But I found a job right away. I was lucky. Well, not lucky. I had the right connections. Found a job right away, and 6 months later, I was laid off again. So here we go, back on public assistance. So much fun going in there. But thank goodness it was there for me, because without it, I don't know where I would be right now. So back on public assistance, looking for a job, and I thought, you know what, I'm tired of working for other people and having them tell me to choose between my family and my job. I'm gonna work for myself, again. So I thought, what do I wanna do? This is my 4th career change. So I decided back in 2008 that I wanted to do what my business coach did, because she made such a difference in my company and even in my life. And so I knew that I wasn't ready for that at that point, but now I was. The 2 jobs that I had held since my divorce, I'd been running their companies for them, and they were doing really well. And I thought, well, what if I could do that for everybody out there, not one person at a time, but multiples I could help people. And so that's where my company was born. OnPoint Business Coaching. I had a PowerPoint, but life goes on, right? So basically, at that point, I hit the ground running as fast as I could, and it didn't go as quickly as I wanted it to go. I had grandiose ideas, of course, we all do when we first start out. But now, I am on only one kind of public assistance, and I'm pretty much about to get off of that. I've had people help me create my business. I've had people who believed in me that helped me along the way. And I mean, basically, that's how my story was born. So basically, I mean, it's been a cycle of poverty to not worrying about money, back to poverty, and here we go again.